Dr. Dre is an American rapper, producer, and entrepreneur. He started out as a producer for the rap group NW in the 80s and eventually went solo and moved into entrepreneurship. He's worked with some of the best hip-hop artists of all time. As of August 2022, Dr. Dre's net worth is estimated to be $500 million, which makes him the third richest rapper in the world. So let's get into the details of his net worth for our video today. Without further ado, let's dive right in. We're going to start off with how it all took off. Dre had made it as a producer and a rapper first in Work Class Wreckin' Crew and then with Ice Cube in the group NWA. But in 1991, Dre decided it was best to leave NWA after a financial dispute, somehow managing to get out of his contract early. That same year, Dr. Dre co-formed his own record company called Death Row Records. Now adding entrepreneur in his resume as well as producer and rapper, Dre was responsible for finding some of hip-hop's biggest players in the 90s, including Tupac. Dre released an album called The Chronic. It's an album that needs no introduction. It went multi-platinum in under a year, and over a decade after its release, it's still making money. It has been re-released 3 times already and has singles featured in the best-selling video game Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. While at Death Row Records, Dr. Dre also found Snoop Dogg, introducing him to the world of hip-hop through features on The Chronic and producing his debut album Doggy Style, which became the first debut album for an artist to debut at number 1 on the Billboard 200 album charts. Next up, we've got Aftermath Records. Aftermath Entertainment operated as a subsidiary of and was distributed through Universal Music Group's Interscope Records. It's the label that has home to acts including 50 Cent, Eminem, and Kendrick Lamar. The turning point for Aftermath came in 1998 when the head of Aftermath's parent label Interscope and Dr. Dre decided to sign Eminem. When Eminem's The Slim Shady LP reached number 2 on the Billboard 200 and gained the attention of critics, it didn't take long for people to realize the power of Dre's new label. Dr. Dre sold 30% of his share of Aftermath label to Interscope Records back in 2001, and that was a deal that earned him a huge $35 million. A single produced by Dr. Dre topped the Billboard Hot 100 for 6 weeks and earned Dre $2 million, taking his total earnings for the year up to $51.9 million, placing Dr. Dre as the second highest paid musician in 2001. In 2012, Dre sold HTC 51% of the company for $300 million. Dre and his friend founded Beats Headphones when smartphone company HTC was offering to pay $300 million for a 51% stake in Beats Electronics. Dre took home $100 million pre-tax. The deal meant that Dre would go to the top of Forbes' highest paid hip-hop musicians list in 2012. Even though the deal did take place, Dre and the partner decided to buy it back. However, that number 1 spot was taken away quite soon when Diddy's deal with Ciroc happened, as it meant that he'd take back the number 1 spot, and Jay-Z came in at number 2 because of his Rockaware and Live Nation ventures. Dre was suddenly pushed to 3rd at the list with a net worth of $350 million. That doesn't mean that Beats was doing bad in the slightest. In 2012, NPD Group reported that Beats had a market share of 64% for headphones priced higher than $100 and was valued at $1 billion in September of 2013. And Dre having the product and all the right music industry contacts to gain the promotion his headphones needed, it was a matter of time before they began appearing in music videos and were snapped on celebrities' heads. 2 weeks before his deal with Apple, Dre sat at number 2 on Forbes' 2014 Hip Hop Rich list. Diddy kept his position as the richest person in hip-hop with a net worth of $700 million, and he won't be moving out of the top 5 anytime soon, as a deal with Diageo's Ciroc brings Diddy an 8-figure salary every year. But Dre did manage to overtake HOV, increasingly his net worth to $550 million, and if that wasn't it, Dre announced the biggest deal of his life. News broke recently that Apple is set to buy Beats Electronics for an unintelligible $3.2 billion. Dre released a video calling himself hip-hop's first billionaire. Dre officially signed the deal with Apple, and Apple has acquired Beats Electronics for a staggering $3 billion. Forbes says they have done the math, and Dre, the boy who dropped out of school, will be worth an estimated $800 million after the Apple acquisition. Not quite the $1 billion that he claimed, but certainly enough to crown him the richest man in hip-hop. Anyways, that's going to do it for our video today, so thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so that you never miss another video. Thanks again, and we'll see you guys next time.